Hi everyone, my name is Elias Toda. I do apologize for not being able to dress formally tonight. I have light clothing. I am out of town for a couple of days and I was not prepared. I do apologize on my behalf. But I wanted to introduce myself and get this video uploaded before the deadline tonight on Wednesday. My name is Elias. Like I mentioned, I am from San Diego, California. Wanted to give you some background on myself. Born and raised. I've had the opportunity to be a part of a multitude of occupations over the last 5 to 10 years of my life, and I do feel that intercultural communication has been a mainstay in a lot of the occupations that I've been in. I was a former basketball coach in the San Diego area. I worked in special needs, kids with disabilities, moderate to severe kids. Um, and I've done quite a lot. Currently, I'm in sales right now, so I transitioned industries over the last couple of years. But I'd have to say my biggest and most difficult encounter with intercultural communication, for that being at the forefront, was definitely me being a basketball coach in the area. I was a high school boys varsity basketball head coach at the age of 23, and I had to lead young men. And that was very difficult for myself, and it was a hurdle that I had to overcome. But I managed to do it and had great success doing it. I do feel that it takes a collective group to communicate at a high level, but also it's what principles you're instilling in young kids and young athletes, young students, to strive for greatness and strive for success. So I was able to do that at a high level when I was younger, and it kind of led me to different facets of my life at this point. So very grateful for that opportunity. But I'd have to say coaching at a particularly high level at a young age. I work in sales as of right now. I've worked for the San Diego Padres over the last few years. Transition over to the LA Clippers as well in membership sales. So have some sales experience, and I've gone through a multitude of different things in those offices in terms of learning communication skills, whether you're role playing, whether you're on the phones and trying to express yourself, in terms of selling. There's a lot of different talking points that you come across, and you want to be able to check every box. And I was able to do that over the last couple of years and gain success in that industry as well, and it's something that I love also. So I'm grateful for that opportunity as well. I was always told, when I was younger, I had a mentor give me some knowledge. He was my varsity basketball head coach growing up in high school, and he mentioned to me, he says, success comes when opportunity meets preparation. And he, instilled that in my head at a young age. And, I know that hard work and dedication to your craft leads to success. And that's what ultimately it's about. You want to be able to thrive at the highest level, and you want to be able to show off your skills, in the most, correct manner possible. You know what I mean? And I always try to do that, on my end. But we all go through trials and tribulations. We're all going to make mistakes, but it's how you bounce back and how you recover from that first mistake. Are you going to make that same mistake twice? And it's important to learn from your mistakes in anything that you do. The other thing too is that I feel that with communication, there's peaks and valleys as well, and you want to be able to be the best communicator possible. But let's say one day you're not the best communicator to an individual or a group. For example, what I like to do is I like to self-reflect. I'm a big self-assessor of myself. What I like to do is, it's as easy as going to bed at night, reflecting on your day, whether it's minute, whether it's in a 24-hour window, assessing your strengths and weaknesses, and particularly your weaknesses, keying in on that, and how you can turn your weaknesses into strengths in a very rapid, turnaround. That's something that I always pinpoint for myself, and it's been, successful for me over the last few years, in terms of the adjustments that I've made in my life. So I really appreciate all of you. I appreciate, this class. I'm so excited for this class over the next 8 weeks. And, I don't want to be in any other spot but here. So I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you.